Good morning, Power Hitter Solar Warrior Tribe. Today is August 8th, 9th. I think it's the 9th. I've lost track of days. 2022. My name is Jared McAllister, your mentor and co-host, coming to you live from beautiful Sturgis, South Dakota, alongside my main man, Jonathan Brunasso. What is up, brother?
Good morning, Jared, or good afternoon. Awesome to see you there. You can work and travel and have freedom, it looks like. Let me turn
Absolutely, man. Been on the road for, I got to accept that. Been on the road for about 6 days, traveling across the states with my brother Chad here, about 1,400 miles later on the Harley. Out here in beautiful Sturgis, South Dakota in the Black Hills, and working remotely because of this beautiful platform.
Closing deals, building the team. That's awesome, Jared. I'm excited about the news of the bill that just passed that we can touch on in a second here, but there's a lot of exciting news here, and that's just a major success for us in our industry. But welcome to all the first timers. Welcome to the guests, anyone new here. This is a training collaboration with Tom Cotter, Rick Joseph, and the Power Hitters team, and Jason Rangel, and so many other amazing leaders. Before we get into success stories, if you have one, think of it, type it in the chat. We'll take a few live ones in just a second, but I'd love to hand it over to Tom Cotter for our weekly quote of the day.
Thanks, Jonathan. So I want to bring up Newton's first law, which is the law of inertia. It states that objects at rest tend to stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. And objects in motion tend to stay in motion unless something stops their momentum. So to put it another way, couch potatoes tend to stay couch potatoes. Achievers, or people who get into a successful rhythm, continue busting their butts and end up achieving more and more. So because you showed up to this today, that gives you some momentum. When you reach out to a realtor, I brought up last week, but like Jonathan talked about 2 weeks ago, when you reach out to a realtor, that creates a little more momentum. When you have a guest on Power Hour that we had last night, almost 500 people, that creates some momentum for your business. These little actions that we can do every day start to add up and really can change our lives. I think for those of you who were in Dallas, who were at the Soul Awards Gala Night, you saw people on stage who are really having their lives transformed by a lot of small actions that are adding up to a lot of change over time. So we are in the right place at the right time. We're going to talk a little bit about the legislation that made it through the Senate, but there's a lot of good things ahead, right, Charles? Thanks, Jonathan.
It sounds oddly familiar, like a saying, something about the best. I can't remember.
Best is ahead, baby. The best is ahead.
There you go.
There it is. Thank you, Tom. Tom is the wisest, most knowledgeable person that drops the most subtle nuggets for us every week, bringing it. So appreciate you, Tom. Let's do Owen, Carrie, and Brian for a share success story. If you have one, feel free to type it in the chat. Owen, really demonstrating some leadership qualities. So shout out to you, Owen, always helping people not even on your team, and a great Northern California mentor. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so this one was pretty interesting. I got a call from my client who got turned on July 1st. They said, Owen, I'll pay you $100 if you help me sell my house. I was like, sell your house? That was never in the plans. I said, keep your money. I talked to both of the real estate agents, and I ended up having a Zoom with the new homeowner and convinced her to take on the solar loan. In turn, the guy I sold solar to is now going to become an ambassador, hopefully a consultant. And then I also got both real estate agents interested to be their solar ally. In addition to that, I have two new mentees on the call here today. Actually, three. There's Ahmad, Sean, and Stacy. So welcome to the team.
Damn. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Especially coming off of Tom Cotter's momentum and real estate.
Got one more that you forgot, Owen. His name is Bobby Rodriguez.
Welcome, Bobby. I haven't met Bobby yet, but it's a domino.
When you have people on your team, you can't even keep track. That's a good problem to have. So shout out, Owen, to you and your leadership, man, showing up really, really well. Brian Mowski is a realtor that came in here, and he happened to find Michael Patterson, the #1 Florida mentor. And Brian, you're making some passive income that people work 30 hours just to make in your sleep. So what's your success story?
Well, that's one of them. I had a really nice month last night without even getting out of bed.
Woo!
So can't knock that. Now I just need 100 more mics and I can reach some of my goals. So working on it. I know you had to put what 1,200 in your downline to get to that point, but yeah, that's my goal. Had a good week with I just had an install that went through. I had a customer that I tried to get set up, a friend, a firearms instructor, and I tried to get him into solar, and it turns out that his sister-in-law said, "Oh no, you should go with these people," and talked him out of going with me because she helped donate to some of their bill for the solar. She paid for her sister's solar. So I lost that deal. And now he said he wished he had gone with us. And he referred me his son-in-law who just applied with me. And then he just referred me another person that just came through on a text. So even though I didn't get that customer, I stayed in contact with him, treated him well, and it's turning around to be a great referral source. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Wow. Awesome, Brian. Yes. Keeping in touch, always following up, even after they told you they went with someone else. That is a true professional. So shout out to you and your best recruit, Mike Patterson, buying a new truck, buying a boat. He's making,
I'm looking at an airplane.
he made 300 something in his first 12 months, quitting his job as a firefighter paramedic, guys. I mean, this platform is amazing what we can do here.
He's crushing. I'm so happy that he came on board. I'm really happy for him and his family. He's also good friends with my son and their neighbors, so it makes it even more of a close contact, you know.
Super
Thank you.
cool. Awesome. Yeah, and just again, I mean, Brian is a realtor who saw this and is like, I can make some extra income. Real estate's drying up. He happened to find his neighbor who's a badass solar pro, and now we have an amazing solar pro in the platform, guys. Like, that's the magic only here at Powur. All right, I was gonna move on, but two more quick ones, Anthony and Barry, and then we'll move on. And type it in the chat if you have another success story. Let's go Anthony first.
Good morning, Mr. Brunasso. How are you? This
Awesome.
is your triplet, Anthony Bonilla Brunasso. So I had a few people on board, some big hitters. Spencer Frazier, who onboarded Jordan Shaw. They together onboarded BJ and his team of solar pros in North Carolina. And they also onboarded a solar pro, Brandon, out in Texas. And then recently I onboarded a team in Texas, Utah, and Puerto Rico, all Spanish-speaking solar pros, realtors, and ADT sellers, and just onboarded a few people here in California. So the team's growing huge. Everyone's watching your success on YouTube, and luckily, because I'm on some of those trainings, they're messaging me and want to be part of our team. So thank you, Jonathan, Charles, JC, for all the help.
Nice, Anthony. It's so cool to see you really flourish full-time and what you're accomplishing right now, a year or two later. I mean, you're kicking ass, brother. So shout out to you and JC's team and others like Luis Perez, just crushing it right now. So Barry, what you got, Orange County? Oops, sorry, I think I muted you. Unmute one more time, Barry. Barry, unmute one more time for me, please.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Thanks, sir.
Okay. In addition to getting a couple of new ambassadors from one of the networking groups that I go to, I had a very interesting thing happen that's turned into a lead. And what happened was I got this strange looking text, and I saw, well, I recognize the name on that text, but it doesn't look like it really was meant for me. And so I indicated to this gentleman, I don't think he really meant to send me this text, but then I launched into, you know, what was going on with me now. And the interesting thing was, this was a dentist that was the second person that I actually went to try to sell solar when I was with Sunrun over a year ago. And since I had him on in essence on the line, I started to talk about, what I'm doing now. Turns out he never got solar since that very first time that we talked over a year ago. He happened to be in Iceland at the time of that text. And so now that he came back, he sent me his last 12 utility bills. And now I'm trying to nail down a time for he and his wife to this time, hopefully become a member of the Powur team. As far as, putting solar on. He's got a 5,400 square foot house, so it's a big deal.
Nice. Awesome,
So
Barry.
hoping to get that one with your brother.
Great job. Always be on point, always be talking solar. Anyone that hits you up, reverse sell them. Lots of nuggets here today in the success stories. So I'm going to keep it going, guys. Quick updates here, and then we'll get to today's enterprise training. If you have any other successes, feel free to type them in the chat. Big news, as previously mentioned, the climate and health care bill passes. So we will likely be looking at 30% tax credit for the next 10 years. I can't stress enough how much this will help impact your business and the longevity of this industry. It's just going to be an amazing time in solar. And what it's going to do for renewable and EVs and heat pumps and everything, I just can't express enough how big of news this is. So go ahead and share it on social media, read your newsletter. This is going to have such big impacts for us, like Tom already said earlier. All right, take a screenshot of this if you need to. Trainings today, of course, Enterprise today at 12 Pacific on Powur calendar is Seller Tuesday, as always. Every Monday, JC Rangel has an amazing training with Anthony and team. Connect with jc.com, 10 Pacific. Every Monday at 5 o'clock, we do have a Powur Hour business presentation by corporate and Charles and Bobby usually. So always attend and build and invite into that. Next week, we have Owen Carey leading the lease versus loan training. Special request. Following Tuesday, Tom Cotter is going to be running it with Bobby Smith, building teams and foundations roadmap. You don't want to miss that. Following Tuesday, a brand new leader, Adam Robertson in Vegas here. I jumped on his team training, guys. He does like sales and mindset and communication and how to say, hey, you probably haven't seen this yet. Or he flips the script on how to talk to homeowners and get them enticed or slightly make them feel embarrassed, or he has all the tricks. I was really impressed. So he'll be training us August 30th, and then we'll have Clearwater Insurance training us as well. Much more on powercalendar.com. Of course, Powur Day. Let me jump to that real quick. I'll get to that in just a second, actually. Do a little more recognition. This is month to date. Jordan Shaw. I must say, Jordan, you got me pushing to sell a lot more on my coattails here. So congrats to you and Wally and anyone else. Jim Marcel here on the team. Sales month to date, 8 days in. My brother, top recruiter, 8 days in. Congrats, month to date. And mentors over here. Congrats to all you mentors. Brian, I'm taking number 6 here. Mohammed on the team. Robert Hollis on the team. So congrats to anyone I missed and all of you guys for month to date sales. As you all know, we have a contest going on until September 15th. Giving away an electric car and 50 freaking prizes. It's going to be amazing. This was in the newsletter yesterday. So huge shout out to Jordan Shaw, Paul Leone. We know Joel. He's an honorary Power Hitter Florida mentor. Josh Easter, Arizona, Ubaldo on the team, crushing it. My brother and Wally and anyone else on here, congrats to being in the top 20. This contest goes until September 15th. On that note, to the Power Hitters team here, we are doing, I'm not sure if Jason is in attendance, type it in the chat if you are, but we just announced August 25th, 7 p.m. Ontario, California. If you are on the top 20 before this event, you can attend Top Golf. We're going to have 2 bays here in Ontario, California. Hopefully you're in Southern California, unless you want to fly in Ubaldo. But if you are in the top 20, then you will be able to attend a VIP Solar Edge sponsored Top Golf event with 12 teammates. So that's going to be a blast. Thank you, Solar Edge. And I might be getting Solar Edge or a battery on my Vegas house, everyone. Stay tuned. Little sneak peek, but stay tuned for that. All right, Power Day, as mentioned, August 13th. I hope you're attending one of these in-person live trainings on Saturday. I hope you're inviting guests, you're inviting teammates, realtors, whatever it takes. If you want to build your business, you don't have to. I'll be in Vegas right here. And then Charles will be in Buena Park, LA, Orange County area. And if you want to even go meet Jim Bunch, San Diego, and so many more on powercalendar.com. So please use those. A one-day training event, no other company is doing. Huge, huge to build your business. I'm going to run Facebook ads today for my Vegas, the 13th. What are you going to do? Are you going to go on LinkedIn? Are you going to go on Facebook? You're going to run an ad? You're going to text the database of realtors, solar pros? You know, these are all free tools, guys, to build your business. These leaders are all spending their money just to organize these events. So take advantage of it if you want to build your business. Okay, thank you for hanging on with us so far. We are going to be here to talk about enterprise, a very, very hot topic. A lot of questions floating around. I believe we'll have a master class in the next 2 months, 3 months or so. But for now, we are here with Charles Thompson. And Charles, if you could kick it off, I know you really fight hard for the field. You have big ideas and you want us to make the most money and be the most successful. And I know this was kind of your baby, maybe with a few other people, but what's the 1 minute, like, why enterprise? Why did we even go this direction? What is it going to help Powur do?
Thank you, JB. Great being here. And yeah, I've really have locked arms on enterprise, and we brought a lot of talent aboard to help us with that. It was birthed by the simple request of being able to have someone on my team to be able to be a support role without using my login. And for a period of time, I had my son as that assistant, and I was okay having him have a login. But as you start to expand that, then the concern is people access your money. So that was the kind of how it all began a year and a half ago. And then we have just consistently dug in with every type of enterprise that comes in to find out, what do we need this to be for it to align with sales orgs, installers, roofers, anybody who's touching a home. Onboarding companies now that we never could have possibly done before. I think 130 enterprise pros and almost 300 regular enterprise accounts. Just phenomenal success, pacing 300 million in revenue for next year. Powur did going to do 300 this year, expecting enterprise to do at least 300, just enterprise alone. So why enterprise? It's really the catch-all for anybody who wants to expand their business in a different way than being an individual seller. Not that there's anything wrong with being an individual seller, but this is a business type of solution. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that, JB.
Great. Let me see if I can put some of these assets into the chat for you all real quickly. Please bookmark these. You know, it took me many times of watching these and hearing things and messing it with myself to finally have a decent grasp on it. And it's always evolving, but we have tools and resources in Knowledge Base and in Powur University. And Charles made a nice website with 2 tabs at the top. So 2 series of videos. Whatisyourredline.com. So is this kind of like the best place, Knowledge Base University, and What Is Your Redline for now, to really dive in and watch everything?
Yeah, you know, and whatisyourredline.com, just so people know, you can use that comfortably knowing that we're not collecting any data there. It's purely to be able to display the information. And literally, I'll invite somebody who they get into a conversation and say, you know what, go check out whatisyourredline.com. The first video really talks about what red lines are and how we believe it's a dying industry. The other one talks about our cost of goods. And the third is our overview of our enterprise program. Watch those 3 videos and shoot me a text message so I can answer any questions and fill in any gaps. 8 out of 10 who I send to that page are ready to enroll without virtually any questions other than, well, how should I structure my business? That's it. Super beneficial.
Nice. Yeah, guys. So all, you know, make sure to look at the Knowledge Base and What Is Your Red Line before you reach out to your leader to have another talk, right? So try to absorb, and you're already here doing this. So shout out to you. I wanted to just, when I express what is enterprise, and I think someone asked it in the chat, enterprise is another membership. Like you all have a $49 consultant membership. Enterprise is a higher membership with more features. Like Charles said, the ability to bring in companies, businesses, real estate office, EPCs, dealers, roofers, solar installers, HVAC companies. It's just another layer, not always needed. Our normal membership is pretty dang good for most people. I've even used it for real estate offices up until this point. So this is not always needed, but it is a great addition if it makes sense. And so I like to describe it as enterprise. You get to have a lead generator role. You can assign someone as an enterprise for $25 a month. They get their own unique logins and they get paid at M1, M2, but it's a lead generator role. They get paid a defined amount, could be 800, could be 1200, 1500, and you get to add a lead generator on the project and have someone like that. You could think of it like a glorified ambassador, if you will. So that's one thing that you get. You get a support role, and we'll get into this more in detail in the next few slides. You get a support role. So you can assign someone to be your support and help your enterprise and get your logins, and they don't have access to your money or anything special. And then you can have a manager that accesses your account, like Charles said, and they get to have full access and manage your account for you. And then enterprise allows you to do a lead offer. So you can offer leads to any tier 2 or tier 3 seller in the company at a defined split and defined margin. So you could say, I want 70%, you get 30%. I want 60, you get 40. So in my opinion, these are the 4 main things that enterprise gives you out of many, many things we'll show you right now. And then with Pro, you get the ability to have seated sellers. So you can seat a seller on level 1 and 2, and we'll get into that in just a second. The enterprise pays for their $49 a month, and they can take additional commission off of seated sellers. The seated sellers still have the same structure. Enterprise people can still recruit. It's still the core platform, but you can seat a seller and earn additional commission that we'll show you in just a second. And Pro has ability based on sales in a rolling 30-day period to earn 72, 88 or 80-20 split. So based on sales, they can actually earn additional money. So super high level, but I just like to, in my mind, think of it like this is really the core of what it's giving you. So I'll keep going here. The value proposition. So just some bullet points here. Let me make sure I didn't. Okay, yeah, perfect. So just to go over some of the value propositions, a little more detail. It's still the same cost of goods model for organizations. It's still the same 70-30 split. And like we said, you can get on the Pro up to 80-20 split with volume coming. And then there's going to be custom enterprise software suites coming, CRM tools. Of course, you get our standard proposals, designs, contracts. You get our automated team commission payouts, accounting, all done for you, right? This is business in a box. You don't have to have an accountant or a payroll or someone issuing 1099s. This is literally all done for you already. Of course, we have our loans and leases and PPAs and that 5th income stream that we announced earlier on our loans, getting a 1.5% rebate back, which is super exciting, guys. I just looked at a national installer and sent Jonathan Budd their dealer fees on Mosaic. And even with a small increase coming on Mosaic, we are still lower than their dealer fees, and Powur pays back 1.5% to you. So you guys, honestly, like the 5th income stream, learn it if you don't know it, because it's really amazing. And of course, the equipment and the prices, the storage, the revenue share, and the stock options are just a few of the value propositions that you can add when pitching organizations. Charles, is this the up-to-date one? I don't want to jump too ahead here, but is this what we're going to see moving forward in September?
Yeah, and you're going to see that some of the terminology is changing. We'll give you some workaround conversation on that. The real design is to try to get something for a professional seller. Not that we're not professionals in and of itself, but meaning the features more for a professional seller. That's what is currently called Enterprise. That'll be named Enterprise Power. I'm sorry, Power Pro, not Enterprise Pro. And what was Enterprise Pro is going to replace that with Power Enterprise. And if you look at that, it's really going to go in a kind of a build partner type relationship. So you're going to have those who are sales orgs. You're going to have those who are roofers. You're going to have those who do HVAC. You're going to those who are installation partners. And that was the reason for dividing them out the way that we have.
Got it. Okay, great. And this takes effect September, is it?
I think that might be live now. I'd have to check just to be sure, Jonathan.
Okay.
You know, some of the terms, just like even with the term mentor, it still shows in our sites, right? Where we know it's actually tier 3. So some of that is going to take time to catch up.
Got it. I think the 85 starts next month. Maybe.
Next month, September. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, for those of you newer here, as Jonathan Budd, our CEO, explained in the master class, we are going to $85 a month for tons and tons of new tools and CRMs and things coming in the future. So if you're serious about your business, $85 a month is going to be the new membership. So when you're recruiting, you know, feel free to disclose starting next month. That's the new monthly fee, and make sure to disclose all of the amazing benefits that you get here that you really don't get anywhere else, like the 5th income stream. And just FYI, guys, myself and Brian Mowski and Marisa and a lot of us at eXp Realty, we pay $85 a month to be members at eXp. So it's really no different. We just make way more money a lot easier than realtors. Okay, so Power Pro is $175 a month. That's the standard enterprise I've been referring to. And then Power Enterprise, or Enterprise Pro, like we've been calling it, will be $350 a month. And just looking at a few of the things in this. So the classic enterprise, like I mentioned, lead generators, support staff, managers. You can offer leads, setting those minimum margins when you offer leads to any tier 2, tier 3 closer across the platform. And you can set lead generator compensation, like I mentioned. And you know, feel free to screenshot this if you need to, guys, just so you can review it and bookmark it and be able to speak to it. And there will be some preferred partner assignments, so you'll have a little bit more preference when asking for certain installers to do your projects. And then the Power Enterprise or Enterprise Pro, of course, has all those benefits. You could earn up to 80-20 margin split. We'll show you in a second. You can take additional commissions off of a seated seller. So you're paying their monthly membership, and you can take up to 5 or 10% additional. So they could be at a 60-40 or 65 split as well. Customize mentorship requirements, view your team's earnings, more advanced team reporting, bring on a manager. And eventually, I think, can you drop any hints, Charles? Like, are we going to see some white labeling or API or CRM? Is the Power Enterprise Pro going to be getting some updates in the next few months?
Yeah, and that's going to be on the Power Enterprise, which again used to be the Pro co-branding. And there's a tech stop on that. That's not anything having to do with Power, but that is coming with co-branding, not private labeling or white labeling, co-branding, because Power is the general contractor. And then the API integration, I think we're probably 60 to 90 days out on that. It's going to first go out into enterprise, and then it's going to be something that there'll be tools available to regular Power sellers as well. So pretty excited to see that in motion.
Awesome.
Jonathan, quick question.
Sure.
Between the Power Pro, Charles, and the Power Enterprise,
If I'm stacking people up in Power Pro and one day I say, gee, I probably should switch to Power Enterprise, will that switch over seamlessly and everybody goes right into that?
It's pretty simple. You actually go back to your marketing link for now. It's going to be coded where somebody can upgrade from within their platform. But right now you go to your marketing links, you take it to the Enterprise Pro application, fill out the application, and that gets approved typically same day. So it's a step of applying. We know who it is. If you're already enrolled, it makes it a pretty easy decision.
Excellent, thank you.
Charles, this is Leonid. When we onboard, let's just say home improvement companies, which they sell also solar as well as many other things, do salespeople need to take mentorship with the mentors, with tier-3 mentors, with tier-3 sellers or not?
That really depends on the settings of the Enterprise Pro. How they set up the individual sellers is they can go 0 or up to 8. They can require them to be mentored on 0 projects or up to 8. It's totally up to the Enterprise Pro.
So they literally, they can actually go and sell with Powur without even a mentor, without one contract.
Correct. In Enterprise Pro, that is correct. But of course, the Enterprise Pro owner is responsible for the quality of their deals and needs to make sure that I highly recommend 1 to 3 like we do today. But there are some true sales orgs that have already got everything in motion. We don't want to stop them. And there's 3 major ones that are on our platform today.
And I also understand there is a 70-30 split. If they go with the volume, it's different split. It's maybe 80-20.
We'll
Can
show
you-
that.
Yeah.
We'll show that in just a minute, Leonid. We have a few slides for your questions that we haven't got to yet. We'll show that in just a sec. Thank you.
I have one question, but I can wait. It just depends on what you guys want to do for presenting right now. Should I wait for the question?
Yeah, let's wait, guys. I just have like 2 or 3 more slides.
Cool.
Please just think of those questions or type them into the chat, and we'll be right with the questions towards the end here. But
Awesome.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I just have about 2 or 3 more slides, and we can get into some of the specific nuances here. And again, this training is from the knowledge base, so you can go get these trainings yourself today and make sure to download the slide decks even. So we already covered this. It's just another way to look at it, which is now going to be Enterprise, the different customizations that Powur offers, and then the Powur Pro is going to be on the left, so the standard Enterprise as well. So we kind of went through all of these different things that you have. And then just to look into specifics, and this is in knowledge base. So as mentioned, there's a lead gen role, a seated seller, you have a support role, manager role, of course, the owner, or the Enterprise Pro, as it was called before. So if you look here, everyone has access to training, access to enterprise support. Everyone can put in leads. The lead gen can, the support can, the manager can. Qualifying leads can only be done with the support or manager owner. Offering leads has to be a manager. So a support role, imagine like your secretary or something, cannot actually offer the leads to other people. And accepting leads, accessing their own projects. There's different things here, accessing all the projects for the enterprise. Support and manager can do that. Responding to tickets. Lead generators cannot, everyone else can. Adding new team members, managers can and owners can as well. And I want to say seated sellers can add to their own team or their own downline. And with approval, they could either add a seated seller or they could add a standard seller.
That is correct, JB. It's a toggle feature that the Enterprise Pro account can say he or she can't, or he or she can.
Right. Yeah, I know there's some nuances out there about seated seller, so we can hold those for the Q&A. Viewing your money, only manager or owner, so not the support, lead gen, or seated sellers. Setting commission splits, manager, owner, and consultant compensation, changing the commission, like we mentioned, 65 35 or whatever it is, you can change it. And then commission payouts, as mentioned, lead generators actually get some M1, M2, which is awesome. Of course, seated sellers do. And if you're the enterprise owner as well, fixed amounts would be a lead gen. And just to clarify, you can still have ambassadors as well as a lead generator. I think we discovered that. Yeah.
Sure can. Yep.
Okay, great.
And the difference there, just for, I'm seeing some of the questions, is an ambassador is paid at M2, the $1,000. A lead generator can be paid at any specific price that you want, and it's paid out at M1 and M2, so faster payouts.
Awesome. Revenue share. Everyone gets revenue share. A seated seller can get revenue share. The owners can. So the revenue share is still in place, and stock options as well is still in place. And I believe I'll show in just a second that the Enterprise Pro has a slightly more lucrative stock option package, or is it the same for both Enterprise?
Enterprise Pro has more lucrative because of the organization.
Perfect. So let's get into that. So as Charles mentioned, co-branding coming soon. So it has to have, you know, Powur installer as well. It can't totally be white labeled. Co-branding, API, CRM, preferred installer assignment, and customized training that you can assign. Cami and teams working on that. It's going to be amazing. So more to come, guys. And just to back up.
One comment on that, JB. Yeah. I think it's important to know, you see preferred installer assignment. That is a feature that once it's married between Powur OS, which is our operating system, and Powur.com, Enterprise Pro will actually be able to choose their installer. So this in and of itself is going to be a good reason when that's fully automated to become a pro, so you can choose who you want to install. They can't allow 6,000 people to do it, but we can regulate it through Enterprise and Enterprise Pro particularly.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And you can put a request for those of you tier 3s or savvy solar guys and get to know your crews. You can put a preferred request in project handoff notes. It's totally up to Powur right now, but being pro, you will get to actually select it, which is really cool. There was something else I was going to say on this. Cami and team assignments, Enterprise Pro. Oh, just note, guys, this is in beta. Like it just got out of alpha. Like we're still in beta. So please be patient. Please let everyone know that, okay? This is not finalized, maybe Q4, but please know that this is beta Powur Enterprise. Okay, so we mentioned that Enterprise Pro, or the new Powur Enterprise, will be able to get new volume-based pricing. So if the Enterprise and or its seated sellers achieve 15 sales in a rolling 30-day period, they can open a 72.5 split, so an extra 2.5%. It'll keep going. If they can get 25 sales in a rolling 30-day period, they can open up 75.25. And you can see level 4, 40 sales, level 5, 60 sales. So let's just talk on level 3 for a second. The Enterprise sells a few deals. The seated sellers are selling a few deals. And these aren't mentored deals. These are the actual sellers, seated sellers, Enterprise putting in the lead. You have to be the owner or the seller on it. You cannot be the mentor. So if you can accomplish 25 sales in a 30-day period, then the Enterprise gets an extra 5% off of those seated sellers and those seated sellers installations, 5% directly to the Enterprise. Did I word that correctly, Charles?
You did. And I want to speak to, where does that money come from when you're finished with your graph?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all I really wanted to communicate here. The different sales, rolling 30 days, unlocking a few extra percent direct to the Enterprise. This for me is exciting. You know, if I'm Enterprise Pro and I have sellers that I want to pay their membership, and I even have existing sellers that I want to pay their membership, and I can offer them additional services. You can use my offices. You can use my graphics designer. I have a VIP training for you guys. I'll give you some leads. And if I can get an extra 5% on 20 installs a month at a $7,000 margin, guys, that's $350 for every install times 20. I know that was a little high math. That's an extra $5,000 to $7,000 that I'm getting to my enterprise just because I'm Enterprise Pro and I'm getting 20 installs and making an extra 5%. That's how I do the math. So I'm excited about this. Yeah, I'm done with this slide.
All right, cool. And that's the upside, where you have the ability to ramp up to 80% the rev share. But question has been, well, where does that money come from? Power is still going to have to operate on 15%. That's locked in. So it's coming out of the other portion. You know, today, if it's a 70-30 split, it's half goes to power, half goes to the org that's doing all the building, team building. It switches when they start to scale up. And the way I look at a deal is when a deal is, let's take a $10,000 margin, easy math on a 70-30 split, it's $7,000. And then on my first gen, I override $600, which is effectively 6%. So today it's 6% on a 70-30 split. When it goes to a 72.5, this might be complicated. I just want you to think of the big picture, and we'll do training on it. It's a 5% override. On a 75%, it's a 4% override. On a 77.5, it's 3%. And on 80%, it's 2%. So you're saying, well, I'm giving up my overrides. Yes, but you're making it up with the volume that those organizations do, which are typically just plug and play. Once they're up and running, your first couple of weeks of getting them through the process is all it takes. And then they're on their own and they're building, and you're just making passive income. So just want you to know where it comes from. And there will be a training done on that as soon as we get the updated assets.
Okay, great. And revenue share.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask a question specifically on that? Because that was actually my question. So like the timing is really good here.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, awesome. So I totally get that 2%, like, you know, your override, amazing. But what happens then can that just be for the whole organization? Because then if you all of a sudden have sellers that, you know, are signed up inside the organization, well, shoot, man, now that comes to one. And then the other concern there is if you have sellers inside of sellers and like multiple tiers, you know, if I sign up some massive enterprise, but I've only got a couple of people I've signed up, I'd be concerned about not being able to qualify because maybe I only have 3 or 4 different, like maybe 2 enterprise people and like 2 people. And you may need, if there's multiple tiers, you may need to have like 10 people signed up even to qualify for perhaps your 0.5%.
Sounds like a great problem to have to me.
It is a great problem to have, and in process of negotiating a solution better than what's there, but it is a great problem to have. Absolutely. You still have to grow wide, and that's the coaching that we always get, grow wide to override deep, but we're working on something particularly for organizations that I can't talk about yet, but I'm hopeful, put it that way. Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
I just want to say, Matt, if you found a JC Rangel, an Edgardo, a John Brunasso, and you're not 10, 20 wide, you're screwed too, right? Not screwed. It's a great opportunity because you have to grow wide, right? So it doesn't matter if it's enterprise or normal. You need to go wide, in my opinion.
100%.
So enterprise, I swear I got 2 more slides here. The Enterprise Pro or the new Enterprise, there are stock options that are a little bit more lucrative. So this again is this in the slide deck in knowledge base. First install 10, first install of a referral 5 stock options. But the annual performance goals gets pretty interesting. So 50 installations, 200 options, 250 installs, 1,000 installs can get you 5,000 stock options. And so Charles, is this every year, and is it the enterprise and the seated sellers, or how does this work?
It's seated only. So any of these rev share and performance goals are based upon seated sellers within that license. And currently it is planned to be annual. And at some point that will probably change as we go public, but that's what it is today.
Awesome. Okay, cool. And I think we are at the last slide before some Q&A and get to the chat here. This is I just threw a slide in for this. This is a very common topic people always ask, I'm a roofer, an HVAC, a solar installer. Do I have to be Enterprise Pro? What does that look like? And my general answer is, in most major markets, Powur doesn't need roofers right now, so we wouldn't give them jobs outside of their own business. But they should consider joining Enterprise Pro because that will allow them to install their own roofs with the solar. It'll expedite their onboarding. And my understanding is that other sellers in Powur could even custom request that roofer only if they're Enterprise Pro on a case-by-case basis. And then same with solar installers. If they go Enterprise Pro, they can install their own deals if they qualify. And HVAC will probably be rolling out some HVAC by next year at some point. So if these HVAC companies join as Powur Enterprise Pro, they will possibly be somewhat prioritized when we slowly do roll out HVAC. So I think it's a no-brainer for any of these to consider joining the Enterprise Pro membership. Anything else to add on these referral partners? I know there were some questions in the chat about referral partners here.
Yeah, I mean, there's anybody who's touching a home could be on that list, but those are the three most popular today. HVAC is in pilot with just a couple of people in Florida, which is the biggest demand. So we anticipate that going further and further over the next 30, 60 days to then where we can do just like roofing, right? We nailed roofing in California and then we brought it everywhere else over time. Same thing. And then as we get into home services and everything that it comes up, it's the same type of vertical marketing. So.
Okay, great. And I did see a question. In order to install my own roofs, if I'm a roofer, do I need to be Enterprise or Enterprise Pro? I believe Irwin and Roofing Department's guidance was Pro. I don't know.
Yeah. The reason being we have a waiting list in virtually every market for roofers. So how do you prioritize that just because you're in Powur over somebody else who's in Powur who's also a roofer? Enterprise Pro. You sign up for the Enterprise Pro account. You're now prioritized for your onboarding. Once you're approved, you'll be guaranteed your roofs, and you may qualify as you have a good working relationship to do additional rollover roofing product. Okay. Enterprise Pro for sure. And when you do that, just make sure you message me in advance so I know I don't have to go through the interview process. Just get a word out to me that you wanted to upgrade because you want to onboard as a roofer. Then after you do that, you upgrade your account, then you fill out an intake form and you include your rep ID as a pro and you're prioritized. Okay.
Sounds good. Let's see. So if you want to raise your hand, is there any questions in the chat that you happen to notice, Charles, that we should try to get to?
Yeah, just seeing comments like insulation. All those are definitely there. Projected IPO. Your guess is as good as ours, but we were waiting for some news, and that news appears to be imminent. And that is, what's going to happen to the solar industry if the tax credit went away? Well, guess what? Looks like that's not an issue. So that's a good sign for us.
Okay. Let's go ahead and go to Mike. I know you had your hand up first. Mike Lowe.
Hey, yes, thank you, Jonathan and Charles. It's a lot of great information. I've been waiting on a lot of this stuff, but so I guess a lot of us are doing this pitch about, for roofers and, pretty much home facing business owners where we do a split with them 50-50 if they're on a deal. Now I know that in enterprise, it's a set dollar amount. I asked support about it and they said at some point they're looking at rolling that to a percentage.
Right.
So my question is, in the meantime, do I just set the dollar amount like as each deal is going through so that it is that split? Because
that's your best workaround, Mike, for now.
Okay.
And watch the revenue training on whatisyourredline.com to show how that's actually paid out. But that's your best workaround for now until we can make a percentage based.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And then I guess a piggyback to that question is there literature that we can download that would tell that person, like a lot of them are asking for a contract versus, obviously they don't want just my word saying, hey, I'm the 50-50 split, even if they're set up on my enterprise already, I've seeded them. Is there somewhere in my back office that I can download something or show them something?
Everyone's using the same standard agreement that each of us has signed. There will be a version when this gets out of beta. So for now, if you need a copy of that, you can request it for support. That's everybody signing the same thing.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys.
Sure thing.
Just do one quick question in the chat. If you're a seller and the leadership on your team upgrades to enterprise, can they adjust your commission? The answer is definitely no. Unless they offer you to be a seated and you have to approve that request, then they could have that ability. Is really like nothing really changes just because someone above you or below you goes enterprise. Nothing really changes for the core business model. Let's go to Luis and then Anthony. Luis and then Bill.
Okay, thank you. Hi, thanks for the space. And my question is about if it's possible to seed some sellers in other downlines. I understand that will be a thing with the revenue share, but not for that is what we are thinking about right now. It's for the installation partnership and that part. It's that possible or not, even if they keep with their revenue share with their upline where they are?
Yeah, it's just not possible, because if you think about it, we refer somebody to the platform and somebody else comes and takes them and seats them in another organization that we don't get to override. It would be hell. There'd be a big fight over that. So it's not possible to have multiple positions within the platform. You've got to dance with the one who brung you. Stay where you are in your lineage, just to protect the integrity of the platform.
Yeah, level one, thanks. Only level 1 and level 2s you can see. Someone asked, does enterprise get the revenue share? Yes, that's answer is yes. Are these slides available to download? Yes, in knowledge base. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Anthony, Bill, and then Jarrett.
Thank you, Jonathan and Charles, for this amazing training. So I actually had 2 questions. So I recently had Angel Javier from Puerto Rico on board 2 solar pros, Jan and Yael, also from Puerto Rico. Well, they already have a team of like 20 plus consultants. So my question on that one is, should they come in as a enterprise pro, or I think you guys switched the name. Should they come in as the pro or the enterprise? And they were also asking, can they have an installation crew, right? Can they partner with Powur?
Answer to the latter, yes, we absolutely want them to partner with Powur as the installation partner. That's a perfect scenario. That's what we're doing in multiple markets. And answer to whether they should be enterprise or what we call enterprise pro today, that is really up to what they want to do with the sellers. What kind of control, what kind of leverage, what kind of pay structure do they want the reps? That's really a decision that how do they want to run their business. If they just want the rep to come in and be an individual seller like all of us, either way is fine. But if they want to seat that seller and control the payouts, enterprise pro is definitely a strategy.
Okay, and either one, they could have their installations assigned to them, right?
Yeah, on install, the simple answer is yes. They're still going to have to get approved to do that, but higher probability of getting approved faster as enterprise pro. Just always think about that as a workaround for a couple $100 more a month. It's insignificant when you get all those extra benefits.
Okay, and who should I contact for them to be a partner as a solar install?
So there's the intake form that you can do. Once they've applied as an enterprise pro, I get that application. Just message me and then I will shoot you the intake form. Don't fill out the intake form until they become enterprise pro. Then you can say, here's their rep ID prior to. I did that with Jordan just the other day, and fast we get somebody through the process. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, John.
Of course, Anthony. Let's go to Bill and then Jarrett.
Hey, JB and Charles, thank you. Great overview and summary, and it's great to see this from a couple different angles. I was talking with Melissa and an enterprise
forum team today coming at it from the sales side. This is from the management side. But hey, just so I'm clear, the new language is going to be the $85 is a seller, the 175 is a pro, and the 350 is enterprise, right?
Correct.
So just that's, that enterprise and then enterprise flow out there is going to be confusing. So hopefully that'll disseminate quickly and get cleared
Oh,
up.
it will, Bill. You know us. We've got to now that we've made these things, we've got to go make announcements. So
Yeah.
I've got to be re-recording assets and everything here in the next 2 weeks, but there's some other things we're negotiating before we record them because I don't want to have to go record them again in 30 more days. So lots
Thank
of
you.
very positive things on enterprise coming that we can't even talk about until it's available. So.
And I went ahead and put the solar installer intake form. It's extremely detailed and robust. So if you want to be a solar installer on this platform, there is a bunch of stuff you have to fill out.
And I have a hard stop. Regretfully, I've got to bounce, but I think you got this, JB. Yeah.
Charles, appreciate your leadership. Thank you so much. You rock on.
My
We're
honor.
gonna be here
My
10,
honor.
15 minutes. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording for now, and it'll be shared on YouTube, but Hangout. We'll be here for about another 10, 15 minutes. Thank you all for being on today.